Hi everyone, it's Lisa and welcome to Make It Monday. Today is week 29 in my series on techniques. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to teach you today how to create a chevron pattern using designer paper and some folds. You can see the technique in this pattern here done in the designer paper on this card. I have several other samples for you that I'll show you at the end of the video. So let's get started. You're going to need a quarter sheet of cardstock. Color of your choice. I've done this in varying colors. They all work fine. It needs to be cut 4 inches by 5 1/4 inch. So this is definitely going to have to be layered onto a half sheet of cardstock to make a full card. You're then going to need 5 strips of designer series paper of your choice that measure 2 1/2 inch by 1. You're going to want to make sure you like the pattern on both sides, because you're going to see them both. Okay, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take 3 of these strips and you're going to fold them in one direction. So the first one is going to go like this. You're going to take this corner from the top right and bend it down along the edge of the left side so that you make a point. Then what we're going to do from the bottom is we're going to do the opposite. So I'm going to turn it horizontally so you can see it a little bit better. And we're going to create this pattern. We're going to do this on all 3 pieces. Okay, once those are done, we're going to bring in the other 2 pieces and we're going to fold these in the opposite direction. So you can see how this one went from the upper right down to the left side. So this is going to go the other way now. So this is going to come from the upper left down to the right edge. You're going to want to make sure that you have a nice good point on the end and it's lined up as good as you possibly can get it. And then the bottom edge is going to go in the opposite direction. We're going to do this on both pieces. So when you're finished, you're going to end up with this: 3 that go one way and 2 that go the other. Now this is what's going to fit on this 4 by 5 1/4. So obviously these are going in one direction. So we're going to place one here and then one here. And we're going to work in that chevron pattern or a zigzag. Now I use the embossing folder to create some background just from additional interest. So just to give you an idea of how this is going to get adhered. Now, for those of you that are uber picky, it doesn't make a complete zigzag all the way across unless you cut your paper down. And you can tweak that very easily by taking the 2 1/2 inches to 2 1/4 and then scaling down your paper even more to do duplicate layers of your cards. And I'll show you that in a minute. So then these are going to get adhered. Now the easiest way to do this is to put Snail adhesive on the angles and a little bit on the sides. I found that you're going to want to make sure that it's down really good. Now you can do the chevron pattern down the center. This one you're going to see that I did a little bit more towards the top, and I have other samples for you that are slightly different. So just for the sake of the video, I'm going to start here at the bottom. I'm going to work my edge all the way up against the side because you're going to need every inch of this. I'm also going to recommend that you lightly tap it down just in case you have to maneuver the pieces. So more Snail adhesive here, and this is going in the opposite direction, and then this one's going to go here. Now here's the last one. Unless you are really precise in cutting your cardstock, it's not unusual for you to have a small amount that hangs over. And here's my last one. Okay, now it's going to work really close to the edges. So if you're really particular, you may have to fold this one just a smidge down a little bit further. Now you're going to see that we have these flaps that are here. Now there's several ways you can do this. You can put adhesive here, but I really prefer dimensionals. So I've actually cut my dimensionals in half. So I've made them a little bit smaller so they'll fit better. So I'm opening up the flap and I found the best spot is near the tip. And then when you go to seal it, you'll have a little bit of a 3D look, which creates a little dimension to this card. And you're going to do this onto all the flaps. Okay, and here's my last one. All right, so this is what we've ended up with. If I hold it up, you can see how there's a little bit of dimension between those chevron folds, which I think really makes the card look nice. So here's the one that I originally did. And here's another. See how all I did was turn the card so that it was going the portrait versus the landscape. Added a really pretty antique brad to this one. And you'll notice too that I did emboss all the backgrounds. I found that that just really played this up. And here's that black and white modern medley designer series paper, and I added that little pop of red. This is today's technique. I'm calling it the ZigZag designer paper. Please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you don't miss any of the upcoming techniques that I'll be teaching, and I look forward to the opportunity to earning your business. Thanks so much for watching. See you next week for Make It Monday.